We've made good progress and we're well on our way to Colorado, and we've both been surprised by how well Lisa's doing. We've even managed to stay clear of the accidents we've seen along the roadside. The I-80 has kept us company for the last few days, and when the 80 has got a little dull, the weather's woken us up. Glorious sunshine 1 minute and an absolutely torrential rain the next, covering us in dirt, muck, slime from the roads. Weather aside, like any great journey, it's the people that you meet along the way that make the journey so unique, and so incredible, and so individual. Take Marco, for example.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi there, my name's Marco, and
Hey, Marco.
I just came down here for a cup of coffee this morning. I live on the ridge over there in a cabin. This is my son, Grizzly. He's a wolf cub. He's kind of native to these mountains, and a lot of wild creatures out here. One night I was sleeping out there, and I had a cooler full of food. I just filled it up with about $100 worth of food, and I was going to spend a 2-day expedition down in this mine shaft digging through the ore. And that night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, I was sound asleep, and I heard some loud thumping, like the earth shaking. I thought there was an earthquake, and I was sleeping in the back of my SUV. It's a Dodge Ram Charger 4x4, and I could hear more than one set of footsteps, and it was the loudest, thunderous footsteps I ever heard. I thought it was a large bear, or two of them playing around out there. At that time, I was half asleep and just laid there. You know how you just don't want to move when you're half asleep, and I took a look up over the edge and through the clearing, straight back behind my truck, there was 3 creatures standing there. They were pure
elk or bear or?
They were the giantest creatures I ever seen. They've stood as tall as the base of the tall pine trees. I estimate anywhere from 20 to 30 feet tall. Pure white hair, the most beautiful 3 creatures I ever seen. And one of them stepped towards me and the whole earth shook. It took about a 40-foot stride. And another one looked at the other one and kind of leaned over and whispered in its ear. And then that other one that was coming towards me took another step. At that time, it was only maybe 40 feet back behind my SUV. And one took off and darted. And it moved so fast through the trees, it was like a blur. I've been to the drags and seen dragsters take off. That thing took off so fast, like a hummingbird, just blurred. It had to be hundreds of miles an hour it took off, and the things that were coming off his jaw, it had the head of a man, came out like this, and they were like thick pasta, but bigger than that because that thing was 5 times as tall as me, and I'm over 6 foot. And those things bounced like rudders through the pine trees, and the thing was right under the canopy of the trees, which is probably 25 to 30 feet where the branches start in those taller trees, and it disappeared. And then that one leaned down and looked at me eye to eye with a big gold eye, and the eye looked deep, and it had no pupil in its eye. It was a solid gold, kind of like a lantern. The most beautiful creature I ever seen. It stared at me. I was like froze, kind of like some sea animal with its sonar under the ocean. I just felt terrified, and I couldn't say anything. Nothing would come out of my mouth. And after about 10 minutes, it just stared at me for some reason. Then it leaned back with 2 fingers and flipped my whole SUV sideways. I dove over the seat with my car keys and hauled ass out of there. I made it out to the main road, which was about maybe 100 yards out through the trees, out of the back area where the mines were, and that thing just stood in the road and watched me go and did not try to harm me. So I've never took anyone back there. I've been afraid to go back. It totally had the bone structure of a man's skull, 100%. And the beautiful white hair going all the way down. So thick over its big, thick legs that I couldn't even see what the feet looked like. But they were just devastating. And so I kind of just can't leave this area now. I feel like that I'm here for a reason. And maybe I'm going to have an encounter with that creature again. I don't know.
Well, hey, thank you very, very. That's incredible.